The first thing I did to get audience feedback was to create a poll junkie. Most of the questions were multiple choice. However, having multiple choice meant that this gave limited choices to what they could say, but it made it easier for me to analyse. The poll was more focused upon the audience and their age and gender, and it was the link between the certain ages and types of horror. From this, I realised that I shouldn't have done multiple choice questions, as this restricted people's answers, and it meant that I didn't get an accurate response from what people thought of it. The second thing I did was create a questionnaire which I handed out to 10 different people, and they were mixed gender and had slightly different ages. I wanted a more in-depth response to mise-en-scène and sound, as these played an important part to the trailer. Also, sound was one of my subjects, so I wanted a more in-depth response about that. From this, I also learnt that most people prefer true stories for horror subgenre, and I also did some video responses to the same questions. From this, I learnt that people thought non-diegetic sound was more important. Next, I took to Twitter to ask some target audience about which font I should use. They all said the middle one, as it is bold. I felt the same as well. My tutor also said the same, and I felt like this was more like what you would see in a real film magazine. I also took to Twitter to ask about which orientation I should use for my poster. I had a mixed response, but I decided to go with the unique way. I felt like Twitter was an appropriate way to collect my audience feedback, as I was able to reach my target audience easily, as these are the people who followed me on Twitter. Even though I could reach my target audience easily, I felt that my target audience were too much for my friends and kind of knew what I wanted. From asking my questions on Facebook, I've realised that I was getting about the same people to comment on it every time. I felt that this didn't give a broad audience feedback view. However, this did help me with making important decisions for my trailer. I felt that the feedback which we got from the tutor was most helpful, as these have the experience in the industry and have seen lots more film trailers being made than us. Overall, from my audience feedback, I've realised that not all of the target audience have the same responses, which means that I need to do further research.